Here we go again. People saying all kinds of nonsense that they don't understand. They're saying AI is this, but then when you go to build AI platform, nobody actually is there to help you. So I'm just kind of like, you know what? Y'all talk about all these game about AI. You talk about what you want to do with AI. You talk about a good game, but you don't really execute the game. Like I'm just out here just perplexed about how people are actually acting these days. It's like, okay, so you tell me you want to tap into the AI sphere. 1% of these people are learning about AI, but I can almost guarantee you, you're not one of them 1%. Nor are you the 2%, nor are you the 3%. I've just seen a whole bunch of people just realizing what they think they can achieve with AI, but not understanding how to go about achieving these things, right? And that's why right now I'm actually making sure a select few people understand this, and I'm kind of inviting them so they can understand what's going on. Because let me tell you something, only 1% of people understand this, and the 2% that understand it don't even understand what it is to say what I'm talking about. Yes, but let's make this a little bit more palatable. If I told you that 1% already figured out what to do right now with AI, what would you think? If I told you this same 1% of people are literally just coming through, making all the money they need to do, make, and figuring out who to reward and who not to reward, what would you do? Would you just say that the fork, you just like to lie, you just like to tell us something, or would you just like try to learn exactly what I'm telling you about? Because again, remember, I'm not the one just making this thing off. I'm the one saying to you right now that there are things you need to be doing. There are things you need to be doing that you haven't already mastered. And this is what I'm telling you about right now. You need to stop gambling. You need to stop gambling right now with yourself, because when you stop gambling, you're going to understand what I'm talking about. Yeah. Because a lot of you are literally just gambling your time away on this app. You're not doing anything. Okay. Stop gambling and stop building. Can we at least agree on that? That when you stop gambling and start building, that things are going to happen. Just go ahead and DM me for a free 15-minute consult where I'm going to tell you what you're doing wrong right now. Okay. You just do that, okay? So free consult. I'll be telling you what you're doing right, because again, this artificial intelligence of a thing is not stopping you. You may think you're stopping it, but you need to get your financial, resources in order. If you're ready to take control right now, let me know. Okay, click the link in my bio for the AI full AI course. Because at the end of the day, it's not about what I'm saying. It's about what you are doing. Okay, don't just always blame me. That oh yeah, you're getting blamed or whatever. Blame yourself. Blame yourself and start taking responsibility for what you are actually doing. Okay, do it for yourself. And if there's ever a time to take full responsibility for yourself, it is now, Chad. This is the time to take full responsibility for yourself. I've seen a lot of people come and go, and I've seen them just kind of like not level up with themselves, and they're thinking to themselves that, oh yeah, if I keep coming to the app every day, if I keep what's that thing y'all like to do? If I keep battling, if I keep doing this and this, I'm gonna get some coins. I'm gonna get some dividends. But that's not how that works, Chad. I hate to break the news to you. That's not how it works. The only way it works is if you understand the exact step-by-step process to utilize. And I'm telling you right now, DM me. I don't care. Go to the link in my bio and grab the full course right now. There's stacks of modules, including workbooks, that's going to help you in this process. Okay, because you've been playing, you've been wasting so much time doing absolutely nothing. And a lot of people right now have found out that, you know what, they've been lied to. People lie to you all the time, but you don't realize that that's what's going on. And you start thinking to yourself that they did not lie to you, but they did. They did lie to you. And they kept you in the dark. They kept you in the shadows. And now you are finding yourself not understanding what is going on. And that's a crime, shame that they did this to you. Okay. They should be ashamed of themselves doing this kind of thing for innocent people like you. I know you work so hard. I know you're coming up every day and you're thinking nobody want to help you. I understand. I remember when I was in your situation when I didn't think anything can happen for me. I didn't think people were going to help me in the process. And I kind of understood that I needed to be the one to help myself. Chat. I literally needed to be the one to help myself. And I was a little bit concerned that nobody was going to come to me or to my aid. Then I discovered this step by step process where you can create anything from thin air. No, don't laugh at me right now. When I say create anything from thin air, I'm talking about using tools. There's so many tools that are available right now to people like you to tap into. The question is, are you going to tap into the tools, or are you going to be one of those people that just sit around and complain? Okay.
I like what you're saying.
Okay, it's great. I appreciate that. So, but look at this though. There's been ways to get after this stuff, right? The way to get after it is to have a plan, a solid plan. And the plan itself is nested on what you believe. Okay.
A foundation.
That's correct. It's got to be your foundation. Because when you believe in anything, you cannot believe in anything specific. And that's how the niches come to play, right? So people are like, okay, I need you to niche out. Like, what the fuck do you mean a niche out? Excuse my French. If you look at my profile, you will see I don't have one niche. Okay. I literally don't have one niche. People were like, well, you're a gambler, that you don't know which one is gonna hit. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. But the thing about it, the moment you stop gambling with yourself is the moment you're gonna realize what your true niche is. Yes. And then you can utilize the tools such as AI to tap in.
Not gambling per se, but like life is kind of a gamble. You make decisions and you don't always know what's going to happen, right?
Absolutely. And that is the key right there. Each day you wake up like, heck, it's look what time it is. We're up talking. All right. Something motivated us to say, let's go on this TT app. Let's start talking. Let's start maybe encouraging people. Let's start looking for ways to build, right? So now you're already making decisions. You don't know who's gonna connect with who, right?
Right.
This
I actually believe that every time I get on here, make contact with somebody and maybe share something important or, factual that, could help someone is changing the world. That's why I get on here.
absolutely. And that's key. If you want to change the world, you have to take action.
Right. You can't just sit around and just expect it to be better.
Oh no, you can't. And unfortunately, a lot of people live in that comfort zone.
Well, that's where evil grows.
Yes, they live in that comfort zone and they expect things done for them. They expect, miracles, so to say. Um, I was watching something the other day and there was a couple of people that went to the South Pole and they got stuck. They got stuck with the ice, the thick ice. I don't really know. I mean, this was like way back when, right?
Hmm.
I don't know who told them to take that trip. And when they got stuck, they had to take the little lifeboats out of the main ship and embarked on a journey that was 800 miles away from their intended destination in the hope of getting some whalers to help them so they can come back and get the rest of the team.
If any of them lived, you know what helped them, or helped them survive was hope.
That's what I was trying to share with you. Apparently, there was this invisible person or invincible thing that was guiding them and giving them instructions while they were there. And I've heard stories about people in similar circumstances and situations that will swear to you that in their darkest moment, there's something that's actually helping them continue. But if you don't take that action, you are not going to get that help. That is the biggest key that I've seen. In other words, if you find yourself stuck in something that you probably think you haven't been making sense out of, but you start continuously taking action to get out of that rut, so to say, you are gonna get something. I don't know what it is that's just designed to help you
Right.
succeed.
I would call it a survival instinct, or in a lot of religious people would say it's a god.
Right? They will say that, but I think as human beings, we are wired to be able to survive. Just look at the animals out there as an example.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
get up every day and they survive, right?
Some animals will chew their own arm off just to get out of a trap.
Right, right, right. So I think we get so comfortable as human beings, and we've forgotten what it is to actually want to survive. Because right now, if you look at what's happening in the states, we're in a survival mode right now. Every single thing that's
I
happening.
think we're more in a. I don't mean to disagree with you, man. I like what you're saying. I just want to be able to like talk to you and maybe we change each other's views. Um, we're more in a comfortable state, which gives us more emotion. So we're more in an emotional state, and not everywhere. I would say in America, sure. In other countries, not so much. A survival state is where you feel real life.
Right. I see what you, if you're comparing it to the broader human condition, yes, yes, because there's a lot of bounty right here. That's what you're talking about, right? So people are, they're comfortable, and when things go awry, they tend to complain and they
Right.
forget what it is to actually survive because they've never been surviving before, right? So you see a situation where a lot of people are in their little comfort zone, and to
They
be
don't
able,
know how to they don't know how to appreciate like people that are trying to survive every day.
that's true. That's true. And it baffles me that
And hold on,
people
appreciating makes you more humble. Would you agree?
absolutely being able to appreciate is you either humble from upbringing or your surroundings end up humbling you. That makes sense?
Right, it does.
Yeah. So that's so appreciate you engaging and having a conversation. But let me ask you,
Absolutely.
what do you want to get out of your engagement besides you being on this app? What is your absolute thing that you can do for people or that you want to learn about?
Um, it's a good question. Well, there's lots. I mean, I'd love to learn about anything, anytime. Um, I love learning. I like philosophy, so that's kind of the study of everything,
Awesome.
questioning everything. Um, but most of the time, I, I'm not really on this app. I focus on work. I focus on my woman. I focus on my bills and my hobbies. It's very important too.
That's good. What if I told you there's a way for you to use AI to start changing your hobbies into something that can actually help you with what it is you're getting after? Would that be something you'd be interested in?
Definitely.
All right. So I put together an AI course. All right. And this course is for select individuals that are disciplined. You sound like a disciplined individual to me. So, what I would recommend you do is click the first link on my BIL and go tap in because it sounds to me like you're already structured. Because what I see a lot of people when I come into this TT app and even YT, the thing about YT is it's already like self-sustaining. All I do is kind of like go live a couple of times, but I go live more so on this TT app for two reasons. You get the right audience at some point, and then you can have a conversation. Like you absolutely right audience. 4:30, I didn't expect somebody that can actually engage, and that's the key. They talk about, well, build your engagement. What exactly is engagement? But anyway, go tap onto there because you see people coming and go, and that's the thing I do not
Right.
understand with this app. It's like the the
Well, I've been
sensibilities.
looking for a good conversation. I've been looking for a good conversation all night
Good.
with somebody, that's intelligent such as yourself, and I don't always find it. Um, and honestly, I should be in bed right now, but this is interesting. I'd like to keep talking to you.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, and I appreciate the conversation, the back and forth, because again, it's not about the moment. Because look at it. Okay, a few more weeks, 2025 is done. So if you backtrack in 2025 and you ask yourself, what did you accomplish in 2025? Do you have like 5 bullet points that you can look to say, hey, this is what I accomplished?
I actually I don't always do that. I'll be honest. I like to be honest with myself and honest with the world. And I need to do that more, but sometimes I do, and it does feel good to say I accomplished that last week. I accomplished that yesterday.
Yes,
It's a
that's
very
absolutely.
healthy thing to do.
It is. It is,
And
especially
don't ever put yourself down. Like I've heard people also say, I'm a stupid person. I'm this, I'm that. That just kind of pushes you to be that way, if you get what I'm saying.
right. But the thing about it, though, is I think the more that you want to change, the more you're gonna get the change you want. Do you understand? Like, so for example, if you proclaim something, again, I don't know if you're religious or not, but what you say is what you are. Literally, what you say is what you are. So now that you've admitted to yourself that you haven't been doing a certain self introspective, the moment you change and you say, this is what I want to be doing, watch yourself basically change quicker than you,
That's
than
the
you
first, that's the first step.
Yes. So so do me that quick favor. I know you said you wanted to sleep. Go ahead, tap in that first link. Look at my BIO. You see what I'm talking about in terms of the niches. I have several niches for a reason. So you can say, well, you're gambling because you're not niche specific. They like to tell me that you're doing too many things. I said, the first thing you got to understand is through my journeys and through my battles, I've developed concrete skills that I'm sharing with people, right? I'm also learning in the process because nobody's perfect. And that's where people get it wrong. They think, oh, hey, you know, you said you've been doing this long and da da da, da, but you sound to me like you're still learning. Yeah, hell yeah, I'm gonna keep learning. Why wouldn't I
Some of the
learn?
smartest people in the world, well, all the smartest people in the world, I'm sure they know that you're always going to learn something.
Yes, yes. But going back to what you were saying in terms of like people shouldn't talk down on them, and that's why I believe in people
No.
because you see, I don't care what you think about yourself. The moment I can convince you or I can make you see another way of thinking about yourself, right? I've made a difference.
Right. And I used to talk to people in my private life, like not in an app. I used to say this, it kind of fits the conversation. Everything you've ever wanted is inside of you right now. You just have to access it and do it.
Right. That is true. That's a true statement. And what makes it even more of a reality is, I don't know if you saw the thing that somebody said again. I don't tend to be too political. They're gonna send
No, it's okay.
1776 to all active military people. Did you hear about that?
Um, the year 1776 in America?
People are getting ready to get stimulus checks, but it's only gonna be active duty military. And the
Huh.
amount that they're giving them is coinciding with America's birthday, which is next year. They're gonna give them $1,776. Now you tell me this: is that a political move? Are we using our military for a pawn, or is this something that the entire population should have tapped into?
I would say they're using our military as a pawn. That came to mind first.
Absolutely. And but when you think about it, though, right? Have we, as a society, become comfortable with whatever like they tell us? Are we comfortable with somebody saying, "Hey, look, we've brought in 200+ billion dollars from tariffs, right?" And
Most people are comfortable, but a lot of people are comfortable, but they question it, but they don't know what to do about it, so they will never question it, like they need to. And then there's people like me who question everything and don't, bow down.
yes, so that's another thing. I like to look at current affairs sometimes, but to me, it's like I'm still perplexed at the comfort level. The people will complain from here to infinity, but they don't want to take action. I think that's the biggest thing that I've seen is lack of action. Or if things were to happen, they turn around and complain about what they could have done. Okay, they say, "Well,
Right.
I could have
Yeah,
did
once
this."
it's happened, they just complain about it.
Yeah, yeah, it's happened already. There's nothing you can do except if you take action to change what you didn't like about what happened to the extent that it's impacting you, right? To the extent that you're saying, hey, if I was more open to a different idea, if I was more open to maybe helping solve problems, I wouldn't be in a situation where I'm really hurt right now. Like, I'm complaining about every little thing, because that
Right.
wears down on your persona, it wears down on your soul, and it impacts your health overall. Wouldn't you say?
And it's happened in a lot of other countries. America's, I'd say the last one holding its ground. I'm not saying America is the best country on the planet. I'm not saying it's the worst. I'm saying that it might have the most strong-willed people that still exist. I'm not saying just in America, but the majority, I think. And from what I know in my own personal life, I talk to a lot of people that are like-minded in my own personal life, and they have a lot of the same views as me. A lot of Americans see where the country's going or where other countries are going, and the Constitution's still here. We have it. It's very important to people like me, but the majority, if they keep following along like sheep, the bad people that are making them sheep are just going to walk over top of the Constitution and go around it. And people like me will start to fade out. We won't exist anymore one day. And the Constitution won't even be used for what it was ever intended to be used for.
I see. So you feel a certain kind of way with the way certain kind of people are basically treading on the Constitution. If I get you, is that what you're saying?
I guess so. It's like it's there now. It's very important. It's set in stone. It gives us our rights. I have the right to stand up against my government. That's what it says.
Protest,
But
yes.
if we don't ever do that, then and we just keep complaining about it and complaining about our government, then it'll never be used and it'll be looked over.
I see. Yeah. So a lot of people in that situation too, they feel as though like the pie is not evenly distributed, if that makes sense, and they think that somebody else is actually taking their cup of tea. It's like, hey, I've been here. Um, you telling me that I can't do this, but yet you are doing it. You telling me I cannot make money um, out of my free will, but you're actually making money. You're cutting deals with rich countries, but I can't do nothing. You sitting around here expecting me to just not see exactly or expose what it is you're doing. And I think I see a lot of that right now. I see a lot of the poor
Right.
is going to remain poor, and I hate to say it. They don't want to make power
But
moves. Some people think they're not intelligent. Some people think, they were made to serve the rich, right? But I
right.
think
Yeah,
I think the
exactly.
roles are going to
People
reverse.
just it's in a lot of people just to give in and and I'm not trying to say scared or be cowards, but they just don't see what else to do. So they just keep doing what they've been doing.
Right? They sure do, and I think it's not their fault that they don't understand. Or they
Well, I will disagree. It is their fault.
really
Yeah, I
why
actually
why
do.
is it their fault?
Because look, if it was up to me, I would have already stood up against the evil in my government. But
Well, when you say stand
there's
up, how do you how
just
how do
one
you
of
do that?
me is not going to do anything.
How do you stand up? Is it through voting? Is it through filing
Voting, I
lawsuits?
don't
Is it through what is standing up?
see. That's where it gets complicated. because the true American ideology is we physically fight. The new American ideology, the majority think that we can fix it with voting, and um, it'll just work itself out, but it won't.
I see.
You know, in the old days, like when we seceded from England, we fought them. We actually made a stand, made them leave, and we created our own country. See, in my opinion, it's, you know, people would call me crazy for this, but it's not, because it happened for thousands of years in different places all over the world. A physical stand is where things really change. And that's a fact. I don't care how crazy I sound.
Well, I mean, every to each his own. But you also remember what during this conversation you said we're a comfortable country.
Yeah.
So when you relate that to the way things are happening right now, say somebody was to take you and say, "How old are you?"
I'm 26.
Yes. So say somebody was to say, "Hey, we're gonna bring the draft right now. You are gonna serve in the military." I don't know if you've ever served in the military, but they're gonna say, "Hey, you're 26 years old. We instituted the draft. For example, there's a war that's about to brew down in South America. Are you tracking that?
Yeah, I am a little bit.
Yeah. So say, for example, the current administration is like, hey, yes, we gave the veteran $1,776. So now, well, we don't have enough veterans. We're just going to go ahead and institute the draft. And you get drafted, and you have to go see what it is to fight for America. Because being in the military, that's what you're really doing, right? It's not a matter of challenging what America is per se. It's a matter of understanding what it is to be an American, right? Based on what you're saying,
Right.
you've gone out there and you've literally fought for America. You've fought to give people the
Well, in
freedom.
my opinion, like I said before, I think the soldiers are being used as pawns. So, you know, they might tell us we're fighting for America, but I I don't believe that at the end of the day sometimes.
How is that?
Well, if there's a true threat to America and we can see it, then I'd be happy to fight for it. But if, like Vietnam, for an example, we were just told what's going on over there, we need to go fight it.
Right.
But it didn't change anything.
Right.
So, and same thing in Iraq and Afghanistan. It didn't change anything.
So what you're saying basically and is it's all of sham? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, well, in my opinion, yeah, in a sense, definitely. And in another aspect to it, this is a little more simple. War is an economy. It makes people more powerful, more wealthy.
Right. Because again, there's an industrial complex that's tied to war. So it's money. Yeah. But
It's
people
a
don't
it's a business,
big business. People don't look at it from that perspective. And I keep saying,
right?
like when you see what people had to do during the Second World War and the amount of machinery and industry that were developed, where they had to literally mobilize the entire country to support the war effort. I don't think people have experienced or will experience anything of that magnitude in the foreseeable future, particularly in the future where we're having a lot of technology to kind of help us.
Hmm.
And I think right now too, so that's why I'm very focused on this artificial intelligence and this AI, particularly what's coming. I hear it's called super intelligent AI, right? That's why you see machine
That's
learning.
actually a super important conversation to have.
Yeah. So that's where I think we're heading. We're heading to there'll be something called parity, where we'll be as smart as the machines that we create, and then at some point, it is
I
projected.
think we're creating something that's going to be smarter than us.
That is correct. That is correct, and that's one of the reasons I created my course. I say, look, let's go ahead and start learning how to build chatbots. Let's go ahead and start learning how to leverage AI for our own survival. Because at the end of the day, Just imagine, for example, I try to like log into my computer one day and I can't even like type anything. It's I literally have to copy and paste what I'm hoping to type, or when I say use the voice prompt, this stuff just not working. And I'm like, this is exactly what it's gonna look like when the AI takes over. It's really it's gonna block us, and there's nothing we can do about it. And then, Lord forbid, it has access to our weapons. We're finished. We are
Well,
done.
we can either use it to push forward into the future, or it will control us if we're not careful.
Absolutely. And
Possibly. I'm not going to say for a fact, but
no,
possibly.
you
And it's a big possibility.
you spot on that assessment. And the reason I say that is right now, only a select few are really understanding the ramifications of the quick rush to digitize, the quick rush to tokenize, the quick rush to make it where things are so comfortable that we think that, hey, that's going to be our redemptions. We're going to be really light years ahead of other countries. We have we'll make the AI chips. We get to say who can put the chips in their products, and at some point, all that's gonna come tumbling down. Because let me tell you something: empires have risen, and empires have fallen. All right, so we right now the top, what do they call them, G20 or G10 or whatever, G7, whatever. We're not going to be in top for forever, and that's why, to your point about being humble, um, it makes sense to be humble. Hey, Sincerity, do you want to say something? Tap in, Las Vegas, Sincerity. I see you want to jump in.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you wanted to introduce him.
Yeah, Sincerity really.
I hope you didn't hear that. I'm sorry, I was coughing.
It's all right. Let's see who Sincerity is right here. Sincerity Vegas before and after the Neon Hotels, Legends, attractions for adults and family and curious travelers. Sincerity Shivan. Do you want to talk? You have something to talk about or join the conversation? Yeah, some people don't want to talk. They just want to.
Sincerely,
Just
what's
want to
going on,
listen.
man?
Which is okay too. It's good to have an audience. What you could do is go ahead, and if you can power share this, that'd be great. They get more people involved. Well, I think this 5 o'clock hour Eastern Standard Time just hit.
Yeah.
Some people are waking up now. They missed the 20 odd minutes of our conversation. But if you all want to learn more about what we can be doing collectively with AI, I've put the link to the course is the first link on my bio. Tap into that. Make sure you take the time to review the 3 modules that's within the course. If you need me to help you with anything, by all means, go ahead and DM me, and I'll be more than happy to help you. Okay. Some of the questions I was asking were based of experience. So the last 11 months of 2025 um, were very, very hard for me. All right. I'm not gonna lie to you. They were hard. They were challenging. I had to reach deep down to understand why things were happening the way they were. But at the same time, I always took it upon myself to take action. Right. In other words, yes, things may be happening to me, but I need to continue to learn. I need to continue to get up in the morning, motivated to do things to help other people, and also to change my conditions, right? So that's
It
why,
sounds like you self-reflected and saw where you needed to better yourself.
absolutely, but not just that, but take charge of my own destiny. In other words, if like, look, I've put in work. Yeah, we go to work every day. Oh, go to work, and you can pay bills. Is that what this is all about, chat? I really think there's more to go and put in work. Okay, but let's face it, I'm not saying not to work. I'm saying when you have put in all your best, right? When you've put it into the system, you pay taxes, right? So when you say, "Hey, I know for a fact this benefits that I've paid into when I need it, I need to be able to leverage it." And when the biggest shock of your life is when folks that are in power that have been lying to you, telling you, "Yeah, you put in this, you're gonna get that," start stopping you from literally taking advantage of what you need to take advantage at your lowest moment. That's when you start challenging the whole system. To your point, right? You start saying, "Wait a minute, something is not right." And
I actually had a good I guess maybe an example or a good thing that maybe people could try eventually if we could get around to it would be stop giving the people power that take away from us as the common civilian and take away from them by not giving them our resources and currency
okay,
and subscribing to their companies and them.
all right. So when you say subscribing to the companies, are you saying using your economic power to stop what you're doing?
Right. If you can't physically fight them, then just stop giving them things and they'll become small.
Hey, Brady, thanks for the like, and then sincerely, Shivan, appreciate you. Your number one gifter. You're now part of the data community. So when you join my community, you're gonna get access to um, exclusive, never before seen videos, the mentorship. I'm also going to be sending you direct links to my community. All right. So the community obviously is not on the TT app, but I built the community, and you get access to exclusives. Put it that way. So let's sincerely.
Real quick,
Is it Shivan?
I
Go ahead. And
remembered what I was saying.
what was that?
Real quick, I'll land my plane really quick. So what I was trying to say, basically, in a better words, we're giving our energy to all the wrong things. So if we stop giving our energy to all the wrong things, our energy will literally start to come back to us.
Can you explain that?
That involves resources, what we care about, all the unhealthy things we indulge in. I mean, as far as like even something like Netflix or a dating app or anything you pay for that's just unhealthy, even like a mainstream grocery store when you could go to a smaller, more private, family owned grocery store. That's a good example.
Yes, an excellent example. As a matter of fact, remember when we started the conversation, we're talking about how comfortable people are, and I was also mentioning how there's bounty where we are, right? There's a lot of goodness, but do you know what pisses me off the most? Is we throw away food.
Right.
We literally throw away food, and there's homeless people walking around everywhere. Make that make sense.
It's waste due to being comfortable and not worrying about it because you're like we were talking about earlier. They don't have to worry about starving. A lot of these people, so they take advantage of it.
Do you want to
And
jump
like
in sincerely?
there's money all over the ground at gas stations where I live.
Oh,
Like
really?
yeah, coins, pennies, but that's an example of what I mean. It shows
And
in the
and
physical world.
and also what I've noticed is, I don't know if you're tracking what happened in some of these cities. They were literally thinking they were gonna get rid of the homeless. They think, well, we gotta make this, we gotta make it make sense out of it, right? And 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 I'm thinking to myself, you know, are you trying to get rid of the homeless because it's not they don't make it look beautiful, or you trying to get rid of them because you think you don't want a lower class of people that have failed? Because let's face it, everybody in today's society is a paycheck away from being homeless. I'm not playing around. Okay, I'll tell you
And
this.
something told me it's not so much as let's get rid of the homeless. It's more so people aren't thinking if you have a more efficient society, then there will be less homeless over time.
What do you mean a more efficient society?
Like if things are more healthy, then more people will stop becoming homeless.
Interesting. So how would you make that happen?
More people will be successful. Or maybe it's a mindset.
That's the key right there. Remember when we were talking earlier, and I said, hey, people can change their situation just by professing, just by saying what they're gonna do.
Right.
That's
You
part of it.
can't just go out in the streets and say, hey, become healthy, go get a job, make money, become successful, get insurance, buy a house. It's not that easy. I mean, these people, they a lot of them, in my opinion, I could be wrong, just don't care anymore. They've become used to it, so that's really all they know. And not everybody. I mean, everybody's different.
And it's unfortunate that the younger generation, and I mean, you told me your age, and it's the wealth transfer that's happening right now. People are not going to recognize society in the next 10 to 20 years. Okay. Because let's face it, the baby boomers was like, hey, we're gonna retire. We're gonna give what we've worked so hard for to the next generation. Then you touched up on something very important about the healthcare, right? Okay.
Right.
People want to get rid of the ACA, but they don't have
I
anything.
will say something. My buddy brought it up the other day. He's really smart, and we talk a lot about, all this stuff. And he said that the youngest generation, they have no idea what's going on. They're kind of clueless, and it's sad. But he said our generation, like from the early 2000s, and a little bit before, we're going to be the ones that kind of progress the world or change it or make it a better place if we can.
Right. But I don't understand though how how people say, like, to get to where we are today, people had to actually make the change that we actually enjoying. In other words, people are like, hey, this thing has happened, and because people took action, we are in the situation we are right now, and they want to blame the generation that doesn't talk, that's always on apps, as though they don't have the power to make changes. So it's interesting that the older generation that are passing by, that are gonna actually, you know, lead to this massive financial transformation, or blaming the younger generation as not being.
Yeah, I don't blame them. I mean, they're just they were tricked or coerced or influenced into using all these unhealthy outlets.
Yeah, right. So let's talk a little bit about the AI thing. Again, that's one of the topics that's captured my attention. So,
I'm sorry, I can barely hear you. Sincerely, what are you doing?
and sincerely, it's really helping out, but not talking. Appreciate you being part of the team.
Can you mute that person? I'm sorry.
You mean your voice is distracting, right?
No, they're just like turning or something in their bed.
Maybe they're asleep. Okay. All right, yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Yeah, go ahead. They're probably just waking up. And if they're in Las Vegas, that means it's super early over there. It's like 3 hours. So that's like 3 o'clock
Yeah.
in the morning. So they can get some rest. Appreciate you though, sincerely. But talking about AI, right? AI is becoming such a huge topic of conversation as we wrap up 2025 and get ready to get into 2026. It's got me wondering. I'm like, hey, what exactly is going to happen when people wake up in 2026 and they're unable to maybe learn what they thought they could learn? Because right now it's like, uh, it's like the Wild Wild West, if you know what I mean. It's people are
In
not.
its own way, I
Yeah,
can kind of understand that.
it's like the Wild Wild West, and folks is like thinking, hey, I know AI. You don't have to tell me about AI. I'm AI literate. But the thing is, are people really AI literate, or are they waiting for when it's going to be what I call the fear of missing out? It's going to be FOMO, and when the FOMO hits, everybody is going to be rushing to learn everything they could about AI. But then it's going to be one of the situations where, from an economic perspective, um, supply and demand, you're going to have a situation where people are going to get overpriced out of the AI learning. Like right now, there's like hundreds and hundreds of free AI resources, but nobody's really helping them with the step-by-step instructions to tap into AI. What are your thoughts on that?
You mean like there's plenty of AI outlets, but we're not tapping into it like we could be?
That is correct because people just get, it's like almost like there's too much noise when it comes to AI. It's like everybody's talking about AI. You're watching the news, this AI this, AI that, but nobody's really focused to help people understand what this technology, what the promise of technology is, right? It's
You're
like,
right. A lot of people don't understand what it's capable of. And I'm
right,
not talking about the dangerous aspect, but it's amazing what it could really do. If you realize that AI can research everything all at once, give you an answer in a second, and tell you what you need to do. Even like on a basic level, I've talked to AI for advice, just on in regular on topics that involve regular things in life, and it will give you a straightforward answer, and it'll say, "Do this. This is what you need to do." And if you follow it, I mean, it it'll tell you exactly what you want to know.
and I think that's the part of it's almost like, from a utility perspective, the AI itself is helping people solve more problems than they could, like reaching out to professionals, what they call professionals. Um,
Right. That's so true. Like a psychologist or a psychoanalyst or
right,
a therapist. I mean, AI could probably help you more than that. It'll give you a straightforward answer.
right, right. And the reason I think that's a game changer from a career perspective is, hey, if you're the user and you understand what this AI can do, and you can then try to use the same methodologies to help other people, I think that'd be a win-win.
I agree.
I think it's a win-win for, because at the end of the day, you are a user and you're able to like do the right, what they call a market survey. Because let me tell you something, some of these apps were being used, and I don't know if you heard about. I think it's, yeah, this is the middle of December. Was the big seven companies that are actually controlling AI right now are changing all the algorithms. In other words, if you don't opt out, you already opt in. They're training the AIs within Alphabet. They're training the AIs within Facebook, obviously YouTube, and obviously this TT
Right.
app. They're training all these AIs to start doing things uh, using our data, and the last I checked, nobody's compensating us for this stuff. Not to say it's all about money, but imagine a situation, to your point about an efficient society. Imagine a situation where you are incentivizing people to share their information, and
Well,
you are
smart
also part of the
people like,
solution.
like me and you, we understand that that's happening, but the people that don't, they're just letting it happen, and they're not really, they're not aware of it.
And it's a shame that they're taking advantage of these folks like that, um, and it gets me thinking sometimes. It's like, back to your point, is when are these large, huge corporations going to understand that without the consumer, they are nobody? When are they going to understand that? I
There we
see,
go.
I see this every time and every juncture, and it's like it's almost like they are living in a cocoon, the comfortable corporate tower, the comfortable ivory tower. You, I mean, it's like you need a generational shift. Back to your point, you need people like you to be the ones running things right now. Because let's face it,
Right.
the folks
And
before,
look, we were before phones and apps. That's kind of my point.
yes, yes,
And
yes,
that's why we can see it. We were on the cusp. We weren't stuck in our ways, but we also saw the technology changing, and we were more into it. And then phones became involved, and then apps, and then people started to get more unhealthy and addicted. But people like me, we're not okay with it. So we're staying realistic.
yes. So talking about realism, 5 years ago, there was this big thing that happened where they literally shut down the government, shut down the economy. You couldn't move unless you had the jab. Yeah, put it that way. So I don't get shadow banned. But did we learn something from that experience, or are we literally heading towards a similar experience but under a different guise?
That's a good question. I actually don't know the answer to that one.
Yeah, because I'm just kind of like observing things the way they're moving right now. Um, it appears that, again, I'm not meaning to be too political. It appears that now you have to pay to play. You have to pay to play. Um, Not to say that hasn't been happening that much, but it appears it is more so in your face. We are powerful when we can pay to play, and we don't care who we're going to tread on as long as we achieve our objectives. It appears that's what's about to happen. And the people that have the power in terms of this artificial intelligence, the people that have the political clout, when you look at what's happening in K Street, people talking about lobbying. Forget about lobbying. This is lobbying in your face, and it's literally like there's nothing you can do about it. And then when things don't work the way they're supposed to work, then people go cry. Look at what happened with Elon Musk, right? He was the darling. All right. They literally rolled out the Teslas on the White House grounds. Buy this one, buy this one. But the moment that he realizes it's all a sham, and he said, "Hey, I don't want to be part of this no more because you said you were going to do some optimization. We're going to cut costs. I don't want to be part of this no more." The moment he spoke out, all that stuff, all the efforts that he put in, it's almost like useless right now. But he's still powerful. Now make that make sense.
You said Elon?
Yes,
I'm sorry, you cut out for a second.
yes, that's what I was talking about. Elon, yeah. What happened to him with Tesla? How he lost market share, how he lost power, but they used them. Come on here, we're going to do what's called government efficiency. There's going to be optimization. We're going to get things working better than it was. But the moment he realized it's all a sham, the moment he realized what Washington really is, the power brokers, then he's like, I don't want to be part of this because you're not cutting deep enough, right? You're not cutting deep enough.
Right.
Now look what happened to his product. I don't think Tesla's ever going to recover. I mean, I used to own a Tesla. That stuff is worthless. I had to get rid of it. I literally
Right.
did get rid of it because I'm like, you know what? What's good is it having an exotic, high performance Tesla, and the value is going to go down. Like I can get a brand new Tesla now for 3 times cheaper than that when I got my Tesla. That is a shame.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. You can literally get a Tesla right now for like $30,000. Okay, so
What were they when they came out? Like 60, 70?
yes, you can literally. They are begging me to come back. They say, "Come here and take this one." I'm like, "Nope, I'm not taking anything," because you know what? Now I will tell you from an perspective, from an electric vehicle perspective. Uh, you'll be hard pressed to find another company that's dominated the industry, but whose incentives been taken away, by the way, because it used to be where you buy the Tesla, you get EV incentive. Well, the current folks in power took that off. You have GM couldn't compete. Think about that for a second. Ford couldn't compete. All right. So, but the game changer is going to be, our arch nemesis, China. If you start looking at
Right.
if you start looking at the EVs that the Chinese are producing right now, you're gonna feel like, oh my God, we are way behind.
Yeah, China's doing really good with their technology. China, Russia, and America. Me and my buddy talk about the three all the time. Russia's not really into that stuff, I don't think. But we are the three main superpowers, right?
Yeah, I don't know that Russia is a superpower right now.
Did you know Russia doesn't owe any money to any other countries?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's wild. They're the only one.
Do you also know that Putin is right now the richest person, but he doesn't say that.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, he doesn't. He
I
doesn't
don't know
brag
much
about
about
money.
him, but from what I've seen, I think he's a better leader than a lot out there. I'm not gonna say I would live there. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's pluses and minuses, and there's also things that people are not revealing right now. And if they were to reveal, it's going to change perceptions, right? So the things dealing with religion right now, that in Russia they've revealed the truth. And if the Roman Catholic Church was to like tell people what's really going on, right? Then people are just gonna like because think of it this way: everybody that's so religious, they go to church every day. I'm not saying don't go to church and don't worship, don't pray, and they give all their money, all right, to these huge institutions that for some reason they claim they're more connected to God than we are. Right, back to what we are saying when I shared the story of Mr. Shackleton down in the South Pole, right, where that third invisible person was following them at their lowest moment, right? But if we have God in us, why do we need a human being to convince us to get closer to God? Does that make any sense at all?
No, it doesn't. And you're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Look,
And
I'm not religious anymore. I wish I was, and I still would like to be. Um, but since you brought it up that way, I'd like to just go ahead and voice that. Uh, I think that we don't need we don't need anybody to tell us how to have faith.
that's the key right there. Faith. Okay. It's an unknown. All right. Are you tracking this thing called Three Eye Atlas?
Uh, I looked into it a little bit.
Right. So, and it goes deeper, and it goes back to what I was saying. Like the people that you think are not what they are actually what they are. Put it that way. So, if you look at the Bible and you look at, have you heard about the wheels of Ezekiel?
Yeah, do you believe in extraterrestrials? I feel like you're getting there.
Do I? Heck yeah, I do. But what are these extraterrestrials? And that's the key. That's
Our
who are they?
creators?
Yeah, who are they? And what makes our current society think that we are so smart that we can tell everything? And that's where people are not humble. People are just they don't understand what's about to come down.
They're stuck in their ways, and all. I don't know if you're religious, but I have this saying, and I know it well. I've burned it into my brain. Religion is often the killer of understanding.
That's a good statement. Put that in a t-shirt.
Yeah,
Put that in
be
a
a good one.
t-shirt yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm telling you, it's
Because when you close your mind down to one thing, then you can't learn philosophy.
that is true. But at
And
the same
philosophy, and I might be wrong about the definition of philosophy, but from what I've gathered, it's kind of the understanding that you don't understand everything and you need to question everything.
and it's okay to do exactly that. Um,
And I
I
think
think
if you're a Christian, for example, I think God would want you to. In a weird way, I kind of feel like He would.
right, right, absolutely.
I mean, why wouldn't He? But I could be wrong.
Yeah, I like how you think and how you're not too overly you're not too left or you're not too right. You know what I mean? Like some
No,
people get
I'm just trying to be in the middle with everything.
there you go. Some people get dug in and there's no in between. If they either right or you're wrong or they're wrong and you're right. And I think
Right.
in today's society that's the biggest problem that I see. You know, it's like I told you, I had a hard time this year. I went through a whole bunch of stuff, and the moment I said enough is enough, I'm taking control. That's what I started doing. I was like, forget all this shit. you know, I
Right.
played the game. I played the game for 40 years. I've done everything. I don't need nobody telling me shit anymore. I hate to say it. I don't need nobody telling me when to show up to work because I'm done. I'm retiring. You may not like me retiring, but that's what I'm gonna do. People are like, no, we're gonna make you come. No, you're not. I'm gonna sue the living daylight out of you. This year taught me how to sue people. I never knew I could how to do that. So yeah. So it's been a tough year. It's been a rewarding year. It's been a challenging year. But I also want to help other people in this process. I want them to understand exactly what they're dealing with because a lot of people don't understand. You give them NFL, you give them NBA, you give them hockey, you know, you give them all kinds of stuff, and they're okay with that. You give them $1776 to active military, they're okay with that. They don't understand how to say this is a bunch of crap.
You gave me a good idea
You see what I'm saying?
or a
Like,
good thought. It
yeah,
just keeps them going.
yeah, it keeps them going, and they're very comfortable.
It keeps them occupied.
That's it. It keeps them
There you go.
occupied, and when they keep them occupied at their own terms, it makes it a lot difficult for them to think outside the box, right?
Right. You're using their own human nature against them.
Yes, it makes it difficult for them to think outside the box,
And
and
what can I call you, man? What's your
you can call me the
am I
fork. The fork again. Go
uh,
check out the BIO
hey man, the fork,
yeah,
that's the truth right there. We just said it.
yeah. And it's so sad that these human beings are just being utilized like this.
I know. We're used as pawns
Yeah.
on a chessboard.
Yeah. And at some point, some of them, not all of them, are gonna just rise up and say enough of this shit. It's like
Right.
it's like and right now people are waking up. They're
Do you
slowly
I
waking up.
wanna throw this by you, this idea. Do you know anything there's lots of names. I mean, a lot of people don't believe in it because they think it's a conspiracy, but it's not, in my opinion. I've been studying philosophy and life for a long time. I just enjoy it, Not a lot of people my age do, but I did. The deep state or the dark government or, the elites.
Right.
It's kind of what we've been talking about. Okay, so if they're real, then shoot, I forgot what I was saying. Well, that's what they're doing, keeping us occupied.
Right. So what you're saying is there's a shadow government that's manipulating
Oh, I
everything.
remembered. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So I have a very rare point of view on them.
Hmm.
I cannot stand what they're doing to humanity, but and this might be a shocker, it has been to the other people I've told to. If they win and they change the world into a one world government like they want, then at least it's a one world government instead of 2,500 religions in a couple thousand countries. At least it's one civilization now, and now we can fight the big fight, you know?
But who are you fighting if it's one government?
That's what I'm saying. It'd be easier to see our enemy.
Which in this case would be the aliens, right?
Well, whatever is at the top and controlling everything.
Because remember, Ronald Reagan said, "Hey, all this infighting and wars, the world will change when we actually have one enemy, which would be like, hey, he's
Oh
basically it's
yeah.
like a cold, it's like a cold war to say when the aliens show up here, we're gonna literally stop our bullshit fighting. We're gonna stop
Yeah, everything changes
treating
then.
people like nothing because now you have
Yeah, no.
a unity of effort."
I see what you're saying.
Right.
Oh, I've known that for a long time. But I mean, if like for what I'm trying to say is it's easier to fight one thing than deal with thousands of different ideas every single day and argue and complain, right?
Yeah, I see your point. I see.
Because it's endless. It's endless.
But if you think about it though, is if you really want people to be free, right? Why do you need it? Why do you need people to tell them what to do? You know, I mean, like, why do you need people to say, don't do this, do that, do this, don't do that? Going back to the free will, like I was talking about, it's like, okay, you said there's freedom, but are we really free? Are we really free?
No.
Do we really have freedom of economic? Yeah, we have freedom of thought because in some societies you can't even think, right? You can't write, right? Or for now, people are literally making it where some of these media companies, which again are deep state controlled.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, they're deep state controlled. Because let me tell you something that pissed me off last night. Like I was watching a movie and I happened to turn to the usual suspects. And they had breaking news, and they said somebody that did something in Rhode Island just got found unalived. I'm like, really? First off, you play with the public, telling them something happened, which is so unfortunate. What happened to the students? You show people you nabbed the wrong person, right? And then you had their DNA all along. You didn't tell nobody what you were doing. And then the next you know, the moment you identified who this person, you doing a news conference at about 10 o'clock last night, and all the so-called usual suspect media companies were just saying, "Oh yeah, we found him. He was unalive."
They know what they're doing.
They manipulate the American public, and they think we're stupid. They think we are so stupid,
that's what I meant
and we don't
earlier.
know what they're doing.
And we're kind of being stupid.
We are stupid. We deserve to be manipulated.
Right, because we're not doing anything
We're
about
freaking
it.
stupid. And that's why sometimes I just cuss people out when I get on this app. You're a very intelligent person. We've had a great conversation, and I do. Hey, don't forget, because I gotta go change real quick. Don't forget to tap the link in my bio and start enrolling that course ASAP. And DM me, okay, if you need to do some more conversations. I need to change right now and get ready for the next series of stuff. All right. Thank you very much, y'all. If you haven't already followed me, do so. And I'll be seeing you at another time. Okay.
Yeah, it was really nice talking to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Have a good day. God bless.